Welcome, how are you, my big family around the world? Even if this is your first time watching us, we are honored by your presence with us, your admiration, and your subscription to the channel. Finally, the US unleashes its full power to destroy a Houthi base. Since mid-March 2025, the skies over Yemen have been shaking from intense US airstrikes. The American military has launched a major offensive against the Houthis, a rebel group causing chaos in the Red Sea. From the aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman to MQ-9 Reaper drones, the US is targeting Houthi leaders and military sites, sending a clear message: attacks on commercial shipping must stop. So why is the US launching this campaign? Will the Houthis collapse, or will they keep fighting? Let's dig into what's behind the most intense air campaign in the Middle East right now. Since March 15th, the US has been carrying out dozens of airstrikes every day, mainly hitting Houthi strongholds in Saada and Hodeidah. These strikes have wiped out weapons depots, radar systems, and command centers, causing serious casualties. On April 13th, reports say a strike in Sana'a caused major property damage and injuries, but the Houthis haven't confirmed if any of their fighters were involved. Instead, they've been portraying the US as the aggressor and hiding the extent of their military losses to keep up a strong image. The US has deployed a powerful force, the USS Harry S. Truman, carrying about 90 aircraft, including FA-18 Super Hornets and MQ-9 Reapers. In early April, the USS Carl Vinson joined in, adding 70 to 90 more aircraft from Asia to boost firepower, according to the War Zone. The FA-18S are armed with precision JDAM bombs and AGM-84 SLAM-ER missiles capable of hitting targets from hundreds of miles away. The MQ-9 Reapers, though they weigh about 4,900 pounds, can carry up to 5,600 pounds of weapons. They're used for both recon and strike missions, loaded with Hellfire missiles, GBU-12 Paveway 2 and GBU-38 JDAMs, all designed to take out fortified targets. The Houthis claim they shot down at least one MQ-9 drone with a surface-to-air missile, but the US hasn't confirmed that yet. The world isn't just dealing with trade wars and tariffs anymore. Now we're seeing full-scale battles in the skies. Yemen is on fire. US B-2 Spirit stealth bombers have dropped 30,000-pound MOP, massive ordnance penetrator bombs, on the Houthis' underground facilities in southern Yemen. Black smoke is rising as missile and drone storage sites are reduced to rubble. This isn't just a warning, it's America's answer to those daring to challenge the world's top superpower. It all started when the Houthis launched missiles and drones at the USS Harry S. Truman and a base near Tel Aviv, Israel, back in early March. They boasted about it, but in reality their missiles didn't hit anything. Some exploded mid-air, others crashed in the Saudi desert. A total failure.
From the Truman's deck, American sailors mocked the attempt. They want to play with fire? They picked the wrong enemy.
The only real hit the Houthis got was when they shot down one MQ-9 Reaper on March 8th, and they proudly posted photos of the wreckage online. But that was all before the US unleashed its firestorm. Now former President Trump, relentlessly active on Twitter, is roaring about it. The Houthis have attacked US ships over 174 times. It's time they pay the price. Operation Tigris Riders is delivering devastating blows. B-2 bombers from Diego Garcia are leading the charge, dropping bunker-busting bombs that tear apart everything the Houthis tried to hide. C-802 missiles, Shahed 136 drones and more. This is what American power looks like. Cutting-edge tech, unshakable resolve, and an iron fist protecting freedom of navigation. Smoke is still rising from Sana'a, but the story's not over yet. The Houthis might be on the verge of collapse, but behind them, Iran is watching nervously from Tehran. The B-2S aren't just targeting Yemen. They're sending a message to the whole Middle East. America is ready. And those giant bombs, just the beginning. Right now, the Red Sea has become a chaotic war zone. From the desert, Houthi fighters are launching C-802 missiles and Shahed 136 drones, aiming at the USS Harry S. Truman and a base near Tel Aviv. White smoke trails rise from hidden launch pads in the sand, engines roaring. The Houthis want the world to know they're not afraid. On Twitter, they brag. We hit the US and Israel with precision, but the truth? It's laughable. There's no evidence they hit anything. Their rockets keep falling harmlessly into the Saudi desert again and again for weeks. An American sailor aboard the Truman said over the radio, "They're shooting like they're hunting birds, not hitting a thing." So far, the Houthis have only scored once, when they downed that MQ-9 drone on March 8th. They made a big show of the charred wreckage online, but their big strikes all fizzled out. Smoke drifted on the sea breeze as commercial ships steered away from the Bab al-Mandab Strait. The Houthis had turned it into an economic choke point for over a year, shaking up global shipping. But now, Saudi Arabia has had enough. Saudi artillery thundered, shelling Sada, a key Houthi stronghold. Thick smoke clouds covered the desert.
Enough, a Saudi general declared firmly on live TV. The stray missiles fired by the Houthis weren't just an insult. They were a direct threat to Riyadh's security.
In coordination with the US, Saudi forces launched a massive counterattack, reducing the Houthi base to rubble. On board a patrol boat, Saudi soldiers stared toward Yemen. They want trouble, they're going to pay for it. The Houthis have pushed things too far with their provocations. What they don't realize is that a storm is coming from both the US and Saudi Arabia. The Red Sea is trembling, and the American public is about to witness what true superpower force looks like. On that fateful day, the skies over Yemen lit up like fireworks. The United States fired a ballistic missile, followed by a devastating B-2 Spirit stealth bomber launched from Diego Garcia, quietly flying in and dropping 30,000-pound massive ordnance penetrator bombs on Sana'a. The explosions rocked the desert, turning underground Houthi bunkers packed with C-802 missiles and Shahed 136 drones into dust. Within just 48 hours, over 50 targets were destroyed, from ammo depots to command centers. Meanwhile, the USS Harry S. Truman stood tall in the Red Sea as F-18 Super Hornets roared overhead, dropping precision JDAM bombs. This wasn't just a military strike, it was a declaration. The United States is unmatched as a global superpower. American military tech is the centerpiece of this campaign. The B-2, nearly invisible to radar, slips through defenses like a ghost, dropping bombs that can penetrate 60 feet underground. Just the sight of it strikes fear into the enemy. From the USS Gravely, the Aegis missile defense system scans hundreds of miles of airspace, effortlessly swatting down enemy drones with SM-2 missiles traveling at Mach 3.5. Tomahawk cruise missiles, with a range of 930 miles, weave through terrain like artists, obliterating Houthi launch sites in seconds. Trump posted on Twitter, "The Houthis are done. American tech is #1. Nobody dares challenge us." And he wasn't wrong. Just 3 days later, Houthi attacks had dropped by 80%. The Suez Canal breathed again, and the world was spared a $200 billion trade nightmare like the one in 2024. But America isn't acting solo. Operation Prosperity Guardian is a US-led coalition with the UK, EU, and over 15 other countries forming a steel wall in the Red Sea. The British destroyer HMS Diamond opened fire, while France's FS Charles de Gaulle cut through the waves in the Gulf of Aden, giving solid backup to US forces. Israel is using its THAAD system to intercept Houthi missiles, and Saudi Arabia is sharing intel. At the heart of it all, Washington is in command. Trump may mock Europe for sitting back and reaping the benefits, but even an EU admiral admitted, without the US, the Red Sea would be a no-go zone. More than just a military victory, this isn't just a military win, it's an economic one too. The Houthis had previously driven up shipping costs 5-fold, with insurance premiums skyrocketing 20 times, forcing ships to reroute. But after the airstrikes, shipping prices dropped, cargo returned to the Suez Canal, and oil began flowing steadily again. A US commander aboard the MV Liberty Star let out a sigh of relief. A World Bank economist put it best. The US isn't just fighting for itself, it's the backbone of global economic stability. Turning challenge into power, with 20% of its fleet deployed, including USS Truman, USS Carl Vinson, and dozens of warships, the US has turned crisis into opportunity, reaffirming its role as the world's protector. Back in 2017, the US dropped the Moab, the mother of all bombs, in Afghanistan, obliterating an ISIS cave with shockwaves that felt like an earthquake. That wasn't just a bomb, it was psychological warfare, planting fear in the enemy. Now in 2025, the MOP bombs in Yemen carry on that legacy, but with greater precision and modern power. The Houthis, they don't stand a chance. Their Twitter account is now just an echo in the ashes.
We'll respond, they say, but who still believes that? One F-18 pilot laughed over the radio, "I see smoke? They've got nothing left to fight with."
The bigger picture. Look deeper, and this campaign is a warning to the whole Middle East. The Houthis are just pawns. Iran is the puppeteer. And now, Iran is nervous watching B-2S and Moabs launch from Diego Garcia. The US has the power to hit anything, from bunkers to nuclear sites. This isn't just about lowering transport costs, it's about cutting off Iran's influence. Because at the end of the day, the US isn't just protecting its own ships, it's protecting the entire world's oil and trade lifelines. In the Strait of Hormuz, the gateway where goods flow through the Suez Canal, a US Navy officer aboard the USS Truman stood firm and said,
"This is American power. Nobody dares mess with us."
"A perfect mix of tech alliances and political will has turned the US into an unshakable giant. The Houthis have fallen hard under the weight of massive bombs, but Americans know full well Iran is watching from Tehran. There's no room for comfort. The Red Sea is the stage, and America is the brightest star." In Tehran, anxiety is growing as smoke continues to rise from Yemen. Iran, the true power behind the Houthis, can feel the US heat all the way from the Zagros Mountains, where their underground weapons depots glow intensely, launching C-802 missiles and Shahed 136 drones toward the conflict. Now, every destroyed bunker, even in South Yemen, is a warning. The US could target Tehran itself at any moment,
The warning is loud and clear. Trump didn't beat around the bush. He fired off a bold tweet. Stop backing the Houthis or face the consequences.
From Diego Garcia, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber quietly awaits the order to reduce Iranian facilities to rubble, and Iran has every reason to worry.
Back in 2017, the Moab, or mother of all bombs, hit Afghanistan, sending shockwaves for miles and crushing ISIS caves. That same 30,000-pound bomb is now in play in Yemen, showing that the US military isn't just powerful, it's surgical.
These bombs can punch through 200 feet of earth, turning hardened bunkers into dust like it's nothing. Iran knows Moab can't reach deep nuclear sites like Fordow, but everything else, radar bases, command centers, infrastructure, can be leveled easily.
At a press conference, a US general chuckled. They think burying it underground will keep it safe, we'll still find it.
With Iran enriching uranium to 84%, they're just 12 days away from building a bomb, but the US is ready to shut that dream down.
Diplomacy has failed. Pressure is on. Talks in Oman crashed and burned on April 5th. Iran refused to reduce support for the Houthis or give up its shiny stockpile of enriched uranium.
But they're not sleeping easy. The B-2 and the Moab loom like ghosts. That massive mushroom cloud from 2017 still haunts Tehran.
America will regret this, Ayatollah Khamenei roared nervously from the Strait of Hormuz. A thick fog blankets the region. Iran threatens to close the world's oil lifeline, but they know full well the US could respond with fire.
Iran's fears aren't just about bombs, it's about the unstoppable momentum of US power. The Red Sea is a warning, and Tehran could be next if they cross the line.
Tensions rise, Russia watches. As the world holds its breath and Yemen burns, Russia's propaganda of Iranian heroism crumbles under American fire. But this isn't over.
From Moscow, Vladimir Putin watches with a cold smile as the Russian warship RFS Rescue sails silently across the Indian Ocean. He appears on TV with a stern warning. America is creating chaos. He adds, Russia doesn't make empty threats.
Back in Tehran, 35 aircraft and satellite data pour in from Russia, strengthening Iran's hand. A Russian general whispers on the phone, as Iran grows stronger, the US will lose focus.
Iran won't back down, not even now. The Strait of Hormuz, the real card. The Strait of Hormuz carries 40% of the world's oil. It's Iran's last trump card. If the US attacks, we'll shut it down, one Iranian official said, staring coldly. If Hormuz is blocked, oil prices will skyrocket. The entire global economy would shake, from US gas prices to shipping goods through the Suez. Allies step in, global coalition builds. But the US isn't standing alone. The Italian destroyer Federico Martino and the French ship FS Forbean are speeding through the Gulf of Aden alongside the USS Carl Vinson. Israel is preparing its THAAD system. Saudi Arabia is pounding Sada. The coalition is closing in on both the Houthis and Iran. The world's trade network had just started recovering from the $200 billion hit caused by the Houthis. Now it's standing at another crossroads.
An American oil trader, voice tight with concern, said over the phone, "If Iran makes a move, gas prices will explode and Americans will feel it fast."
Russia is smiling from afar, knowing that chaos in the Middle East could distract the US from Ukraine. But from Washington, Trump made it crystal clear, we will protect the world. No one dares challenge us. Thank you very much for watching the video. Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. At X News, we are committed to providing you with realistic and fair news. See you soon in the next video.